everybody. Welcome to Amy Nolte Music. I've got the camera set up today so that you can see my hands. And I can change the camera too if we want to talk more. But right off the bat, I just wanted to practice with you today a little bit. And I'm going to keep going with this, but I wanted to let you know kind of what I'm doing. So I've been listening to the Keith Jarrett trio, as I do a lot. He's just one of my greatest influences and biggest heroes. And every time I dive deep and listen to the trio, I just wish that I could embody all of the beauty that is Keith Jarrett. So I don't want to be Keith Jarrett, but I feel like if I practice like I am him or something, I get all these new ideas and then they become a part of me. So I'm trying to take some. I see my mom and my daughter are in here. Thank you guys. This might be a little boring for you, but I'm so glad you're here. So I'm just gonna keep going. And anybody know the tune? I don't think anybody said it yet in the chat. I don't think anybody said it. So here's the tune. I'll sing it for you. Let me know if I need to turn my vocal mic higher or not. I did a piano check, but I didn't test my vocal mic. Okay, here's the tune. It's called How About You? And it goes like this. I'm doing it in the key of F. It goes, it's not the key that I sing it in, but it's okay. I like New York in June. How about you? I dig a Gershwin tune. How about you? I love a fireside when a storm is due. I love potato chips, moonlight, and motor trips. How about you? I love to read good books, can't get my fill. And Franklin Roosevelt's looks give me a thrill. Holding hands at the movie show when the lights are low may not be new, but I like it. How about you? Yeah, it's really like old-fashioned lyrics. I think Judy Garland sang it in a movie, but I can't remember what it was. So I like this tune a lot. It moves through some key centers that are really common in jazz tunes. It moves from the F, it moves to D minor. It also moves to A minor at times, and it also moves to A major. So it's got all of these different key centers, and I'll kind of tell you how I think about it. So this is F, but here I think of A minor. Here, there's a few ways to think of this chord. You can think of it as G sharp diminished, but since this is in the melody, this E note, you could think of it as an E7 chord in first inversion. Sometimes I also think of it as when I'm playing solos, because I like to go. It goes from A minor to this chord to G minor. So I like to think of them all as minor chords, and you'll see me do that sometimes when I'm soloing. Then we got a 2/5 back to F. It does it again, but it does a little fake out right here, and it takes you to the key of G minor actually. G minor, right? Here it is. And then the bass walks down. And what key are we going to here? We've got a half diminished chord, so it's leading us to D minor. But it walks down again. And here's another half diminished chord, and you think it's going to take us to A minor, but it doesn't. It takes us to A major. And it stays in A major for a little bit. D7. Right, G minor to C7 back to the key of F. So just like the beginning, but then this is where the last A section is not an A section, it's a C section because it's different. It's a different delivery. That's a joke. So now we're in B flat. We had the 2/5. We go to the 4 chord of B flat, but it's also the back door to get into F, right? This E flat 7 chord. And here, this is an F major chord, but I always put a C on the bottom because that's what Keith Jarrett does, and he's hip. This I think about as an A augmented chord. But still with the C on the bottom, I think that's nice. Whoa, my mom thinks the microphone's sexy. I'm sorry, the mic has to be in the shot. Kind of does, though. And here we go to D minor. But really, it's just turning us around. Yeah, so that's what it is. And I like to practice with my left hand in rootless voicings. So pretending that I've got a bass player and a drummer, but I don't. This is something that was hard for me in college because I knew I needed to learn these rootless voicings, but they didn't sound good to me yet. Just to do this. Like they didn't sound good to me yet, but after a time they do start to sound good, and they start to sound like enough. So if you're having trouble with your rootless voicings and pretending that you have a bass player, a good idea is to just turn on your play along on iReal Pro and actually do have a bass player and drummer. But I want to be able to stop and talk about things with you sometimes today, so I'm not going to put those fake guys on. But it's a great tune, isn't it? And I see all of your comments too. You can see my computer's right in front of me, so I can see you guys. And Ella wants to know, if Keith Jarrett jumped off a cliff, would you do it too? I think that's a question for all of you, but really she's asking me. Yeah, I'll have to think about that one, Ella. It's a great question. I should make a whole video about it. Okay, so here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is exactly what Keith Jarrett does when he starts his solo, which is to allude to the melody often. All right. And you can see sometimes I'll play 4-note voicings like I teach you to do, like I was showing you right there, but sometimes I might not. Sometimes I might just leave them out altogether. Sometimes I might just play a couple notes of them because I just want to be minimal. I don't know. You'll kind of see, I guess. One thing that I have that I want to work on is that I'm not as strong in the key of A major. So when we get to the A major part, I always feel like I'm a little bit weak. So I might spend some time playing in A major and showing you how I try to get a little more comfortable in keys that I'm not as comfortable in. All right, here we go. a good time to stop and show you about A major. I'm starting to get a little bit like into it, and as a result, I'm stiffening up a little bit. That's a thing I don't like about myself. I'm trying to work on it. So when I do notice that I'm stiff, like starting to get intense and my hands getting tighter, it's good to just take a break and say, don't get tighter, Amy. Maybe take a little drink. Philip, you say that of course an A augmented triad with a C on the bottom could be a C sharp augmented major 7. Wow, could it really? C sharp augmented major 7. Yeah, you totally could think about it that way. Nice observation. All right, so A major, right? If I want to play an A major, I might just play a scale. Then I might play some patterns on a scale. I keep messing up there. And then I might think of another pattern. Yeah, maybe some arpeggios. Then I think about the tune, and it's a 2/5. That's what it does. What I hear right here is da ba da 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 da. So I want to make sure I can do that. And I don't know why that came to my head, but it did, and it's a thing that can orient you in a key. I'm sure you all can hear it, and I don't know where it came from. Oh my word, I got a super chat. A big old super chat. Thank you, 10 trillion. That's amazing. Really appreciate that. Okay, so that's a... Probably came from classical music somewhere, right? And then I'll just keep going until something else comes to me that I can hear that I can't execute, but I want to execute. Okay, this I hear a... So people ask if if I think about modes or scales or anything, but really I don't. I just try to hear things and pull them off. So listening is important, right? I could never hear things that I want to pull off like this if I didn't listen to a bunch of people a lot. Otherwise you can't hear ideas, but to me that's kind of the goal is, you do this for a while, then you listen some more, and you listen harder to figure out more difficult things to hear, and then you try to pull those off, and it all just becomes a part of you as you go along. Nobody seems to be asking me anything about what I'm doing. It's all about other stuff, but I hope that you're digging this stuff. All right, a little more on this. You notice when I heard this note, which is like the sharp 4, my left hand screwed up. So I have to sometimes just even playing a note that's totally not what you would be playing with your left hand can mess up your left hand, I guess. that's something I probably didn't realize. So let's get into that again. I'm not feeling a beat. Here we go. Then a good thing to do is whatever I end up playing in A, I should also try to play the exact same thing getting into F, because that's a good connective device. So that time I went right? There we go. No. Something like that. Took that from Keith Jarrett. I know I did. I don't remember what he did after that. I should play what I remember from Keith Jarrett, because I know a lot of this solo. So he goes. Then he goes. Good stuff from Keith Jarrett. Yeah, I love Keith Jarrett. Oh my gosh. All right, let me read a little bit. You guys are all talking to each other. I love that. That's great. Sean says jazz is like life. You can play ahead, but never be sure of the results. Okay, Sean, that's so deep. Everybody's into Sean. Yeah, Sean, that hit me. what was that scale pattern you were playing a minute ago? Well, there were a few. Let me try again. I know I did. I think I probably did like that, like threes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just on every 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, you start on every one. You can also do it in fours. You can also, I probably did something like, I like to outline chord tones like that. So you go under it and above it. And so I go under it by, yeah, I guess these are all scale tones. But here, this is not a scale tone. I mean, you could do it with scale tones. Like that. So you take every chord tone and outline it by diatonic step. But I prefer the sound of chromatic things. So you could do it by chromatics. And that's a little bit more out than it would be if you did. If you take the, I guess I played the 6 and the 9 there instead of like the flat 6 and the flat 9. Or you can make up any kind of patterns that you want to get better in a key. You can also play melodies in the key that you're bad at, and that can be helpful. So why don't I try that? I'll play some melody that I know, like why don't I just play this one? Every time I make a mistake, I'm going to slap my own hand. No, it was this one. And then I should start over again. But of course, then the ice cream truck drives by. And it's the bane of my existence. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat that I missed before. And I see now. I can't see who it's from. Oh, there it is. From Dr. Eiflun. And he wants me to switch songs and play another song to I'll Be Seeing You. I can't because the ice cream truck is here. Did you see my video about Nam and how I don't do well with like other noise? I really don't. If the ice cream truck comes by, I have to stop everything. And somebody's buying something because he's just stopping where he's at. I was gonna pay him never to come back again, like $20, because I think that's more than he'd make in like 3 years. But then I realized there's 3 different ice cream trucks, maybe 4. That's too much money. Anyway, this little game I was playing, you don't have to slap your own hand, but something to make yourself start all over again and do it again is a good idea. I mean, just starting over again might be enough of a punishment for yourself. But yeah, that's another way to orient yourself in a key. Change microphone positions, aimers. Wow, we're really on intimate terms, me and Leapshin. I'll just turn it up a little. Okay, maybe that will help. Hi, Fred. There are no mistakes in jazz, and there's no crying in baseball. Tell us an artist or a song that you like that you think would surprise us. All right, you guys are ready for me to change gears. What's it been, 28 minutes on the same song? I guess that's a lot. But I'll tell you what, I was practicing it for another 20 before I started the live stream. Do I derive inspiration from the Ice Cream Man music? I'm not, no, I don't. Let's see, I'll Be Seeing You is a tune that I'm not very good at. And it's one that I have heard a lot, so if I play it, I probably play my own changes that I think sound right, but they're probably not right. So I should probably just look it up. And can you guys hear what song the Ice Cream Man is playing? It's turkey in the straw now. I'll be seeing you. Whoa, it's not coming up. Hold on. There it is. It's because I didn't type an apostrophe. So here it's in the key of E flat. Oh, if I play loud enough, I can't quite hear the ice cream man. These changes are great. People must be buying like 20 ice creams. Sometimes this happens when I'm making a video and I just have to like go make myself something to eat. I'll Be Seeing You is a beautiful song. I guess I don't know what flavor to choose. I got the Ice Cream Man Blues. You're very clever. Super chat the ice cream. I should give all the money that people gave me on Super Chat to the ice cream truck to get him never to come back. Hello from Spain to Count Blissett. I've seen your name before. Thanks for being such a great supporter. You've heard that Yesterday is a standard. Yesterday by the Beatles is a jazz standard. I wouldn't say so, but I think most people know it. It's the kind of tune that if you call on your gig, they'll probably be like, yeah, okay, let's do it. But they won't necessarily be excited about it. That's how I think about it. But I think it's a beautiful tune, and I always like to play it. James Watson says he's wondering about my left-hand rhythms when I'm comping for myself. Is there any way to tighten that up and solidify technique and syncopations? I think it's really good to transcribe rhythms that other people play. I've got pages of Bill Evans' rhythms. Bill Evans' rhythms are sophisticated, too. That's something I haven't talked about in a video yet, but gosh, his comping rhythms are out of sight. But just to notice where it's important to comp for yourself that's kind of key too. So it's mostly like it acts as a couple of things. It acts as an accent to what you're doing, right? So if I'm back in that tune, it acts as let's let the listener hear what the chord changes do, right? Here again, we're doing a key change. Gosh, it's just really hard with that ice cream truck. Okay, so say I'm soloing. I don't know, I hit it right there with that one when we changed chords, and I did like an accent. Oh, you guys, he's driving away. Yeah. So it can help you. I don't know. It can help you to change chords. It can help you to accent things that you're doing. It can also be a filler sometimes if you take a break. But you do want to come up with some good patterns or some good rhythmic stabs that are common to jazz rhythms. So if you got you can just set a metronome. Come here. You can set a metronome to a tempo that you like maybe the one that we were just playing at. I don't know where it's at, like 110 or something. Let's see. My metronome app. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Oh, that was much faster than 110. Maybe 130. Sorry, it was much faster. It was 142. This is one. You can do it the whole way through. Like that. You can just pick a pattern and do it. So that was and of 1, 3, and then so that's the first one. You play on the and of 1 and on beat 3, and then on 1 and the and of 2 and hold it. Ba 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 ba, and then you can try a different one. And another common one might be like that, double eighth notes like that. That's a kind of common thing to do. You could even just like that. You just pick, a rhythm that's pretty standard, and just play it a bunch and leave your metronome on and really try to feel it. I hope that's some good advice about that. Getting an ice cream cone would be good. Maybe I should have just gone and bought an ice cream cone, but I couldn't have taken you with me. You guys mind not seeing my face or just seeing my hands? Everybody always asks to see my hands, so I thought I'd try that this time. Could I point you to a sheet music? Well, Amy, whatever, if you use the app that I use, I suppose you can probably see it right here, right? So these are all my music apps. I put them in this folder. Can you see it? Probably can. And this is the one you use a ton. It's called iReal Pro. And I talk about it all the time in my videos, because when you get it, there's this thing down here called forums, and you click on the forums, and then it takes you to all these like playlists that people have uploaded, or databases, I guess. And you can see the jazz one has nearly 3,000 songs, and I've already downloaded it. But after you download whatever you want, the Brazilian, the pop, rock, and blues, there's a Beatles one, there's a Stevie Wonder's one. You go back to songs, and they're all there, and you can search for anything. And then once you find it, you can put it in any key you want, and it just switches it right away. You can also press play, and it'll play you a very slow play along. You can change the tempo, of course. So if you want to follow along with me, if you have this app, whatever song I'm talking about, just type it into the search, and then you can follow along the chords with me. I don't know what song we'll talk about next. Let's see. Oh, good, James. I'm glad that was helpful. I wish that YouTube would update the chat, make the chat function work better, because it's such a latency. I know that you probably said that definitely helps. Thank you. At least 40 or 50 seconds ago already. I also have an Ethernet cable with super high internet, so it's not on my end. Oh, I'm glad the piano sounds good, Fred. Thank you. I just got it tuned. So yeah, you'll know from now on whenever I make a video on my Rhodes, it's probably because my piano is slipping out of tune. Yeah, let's see. I'm trying to think if I wanted to talk about anything else about that. sometimes it's good to sing all of your ideas if you can, but I know that's not as easy for people. But if you sing, the name of the app is iReal, so IREAL Pro, PRO. And it costs some money. It's like $13, but it's very much worth it. Oh, I was probably showing you my other music apps, right? So I've also, I got Spotify. I use that all the time. I've got the premium, so I can listen to everything everybody always sends me. Musicians use Spotify. I know that, there are some musicians that won't do it because of the way that they're ripping off artists. But, I think they've upped their game a little bit. I'm making some money from Spotify, so I don't know. I think it's getting better. And I've got a metronome, and this one's called Pro Metronome. But there are so many metronome apps that are good, iReal Pro. I've got this INS tuner, and I've got a whole video about that one. I've got SoundCloud, mostly because I listen to Charlie Nolte. He's my boy. And I have SoundHound, so that if I ever hear a song and I want to know what it is, I can press that. And I have Drum Genius, although you can see I don't use it very often. Drum Genius is great. It's got so many drum beats, and you can just grab them and loop them. And I don't use this one so much. It's a game that I did a video about called Chord Prog, but that one's really good too. There's a new app that I heard about that I haven't gotten yet, but Adam Neely showed it to Ben Levin and I when we were hanging out at after NAMM, and it's called Polytonus. I haven't gotten it yet, but we played with that thing for like 20 minutes, the three of us, trying to compete with each other who could hear things the best. So that's a really cool app. I haven't downloaded yet, but I want to. Any advice on coordinating hands? Well, it depends on what you're talking about, Ella or Ela. Depends on what you're talking about, but say that you're having trouble just with those rhythms that I talked about. Like, let's see, what do we do? And of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do that one. So let's just do this. We just do 3s and 7s. So F major, right? We just do the 3 and 7s, and then we've got A minor, A flat minor, G minor, C7, and we just go back and forth. Just like that. And let's play a pattern with our right hand that's the same all the way through. So let's go. Like that. So that is a little hard to coordinate if we do that, but we've got, right, 1, 2, 3, 5, and then we do it again, but a little bit different rhythm, because we'll go on over this chord, we go, right, there's our chords. We'll try again with 3s and 7s, and we'll go real slow. Oh, what was it? What was my rhythm? Let's see. Does it even work with that? Let's see. 3, 4. That's what it was, right? Okay. Again, a slower. I think I skipped one. I skipped this one the first time, right? You can do that kind of a thing. You can just make a little pattern. If that's too hard, you can make something easier. You can just do something like that, and then I don't know. That's kind of hard too. But I think making up things, and if you have a hard time doing that, I always recommend writing out some dots. I wonder if I can show you that. I probably can. I've got a pencil. I've got some paper. Oh, let's do a commercial. Let's do a commercial. The commercial is for my book. Hi everyone, thanks for watching Amy Nolte Music. I would like to show you my book. It is called The Musician's Notebook Amy Nolte Edition, and it's really nice. And it has this cool logo on it that my son Louis designed. And in the beginning of the book, it has staff paper on both sides. No, let's see. That's not a good example. Staff paper on both sides. Oh, I'm showing you guys top secret stuff. And then in the middle of the book, it has staff paper on this side, lined paper on this side. That's really cool, right? All right, but what I need is a blank page, like super blank. And oh, it doesn't even have one, because right here on the front cover is my jazz Bible. So if you're wondering about the thirds and sevens that I was just playing, this tells you all of them. And it also tells you the other notes that are cool to play in your jazz voicings. And you can get it by going to themusiciansnotebook.com. Okay, so I've also got just a blank piece of paper right here. And you can see I was teaching a lesson the other day, and I was writing out dots for people because it's helpful. So I think you can see this. All right, so this is a new thing. If we make, what's a good way to do it? If we have just the beat here, we've got 2 measures, right? We'll separate them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. And we were going to go like this. We're going to go ba-da, 2, 3, 4, ba, 1 and 2, and of 2, right? And hold it. So that's our rhythm, right? I mean, we could write stems on them and make them look like eighth notes, but I don't think you need to. I think this is it. Like, if you just see the beat going by and see where your rhythms line up, ba-da, ba, ba, ba-da, 3, 4, ba, ba. Then, if you make some kind of a pattern for your right hand to play, what did we do? We did ba-do-day. I mean, then you can just da 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 da, and you hold that, and then you can write it again, da 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 da, and hold it. Then, so let's just say that we're just gonna do an F major, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then G minor to C7. So a 2-5 over here, we've got F major here. Over here, we've got G minor to C7. All right, does that make sense? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do it like that. Nice voice leading. All right, and then with our right hand, we're gonna go F, G, A, C, and then we're gonna go G, A, B flat, D. And if we're looking at it, if you see it all lining up like this, it can help you so much, because what you see is that your right hand and your left hand line up here and they line up here. But then you've got rest for your left hand, and your right hand's gonna play 2 more notes, hold one, and then this one's gonna line up here. You're gonna play 2 more notes and it's gonna line up here. You're gonna hold these. Like, just seeing it like this sometimes and having it in front of you can really, really help. It can really help your brain to process, to coordinate your hands. So that's really what I recommend, I guess. Maybe I should make a video about that. Anytime you're having trouble coordinating hands, just write it out like this, like some little dots, however it makes sense to you, because seeing it and reading it is like, it's a game changer. Then your hands just do it because you're reading it. I don't know. For me anyway, that's helpful. I don't think I'm a visual learner in a lot of ways, but in this way, I definitely am. All right. I hope that was helpful. Oh, Toussaint, you're hopping on board. Toussaint says, everybody get the Amy Nolte notebook. He has one. They're $16, which is a little bit of a deterrent, I think, but it was as low as I could get the price. Oh, Ella's calling me. You guys, I should talk to Ella. I think I'm going to end it. I haven't talked to Ella in a long time. This is mom priority, huh? Hey, Elle, give me 1 sec. I'm just ending my thing. You guys, thank you for being here. This was a lot of fun, and I hope that it was helpful for you. I'll see you next time on Amy Nolte Music.